r/AskReddit. I saved a girl from drowning. She then sued me. Ask me anything. I am a trained swimmer and completed all classes to become a lifeguard. However, swimming never was more than a hobby for me and I chose a totally different career path. In 2007 I saved a girl from drowning. For those of you unexperienced with seashores and beaches, the sea will always push you back to the shore unless you are further than a given point. After this given point, the strong current will either push you deeper into the sea or keep you where you are. You can't just float back to the shore. You will drown for exhaustion. In 2007 I was at the beach with a few friends when I noticed a girl way too far from the shore. By too far, I mean way too far. At least twice as far as any other person. Her gestures were clear. She was drowning, barely keeping her head above water. I turned around. No lifeguard. I later learned the man chose to take a break and was at the bathroom. To make this clear, she was getting further and further from the shore by the second. I'm a good swimmer. I raced to her, then carried her on my back to the shore, keeping her above water. She had already swallowed a lot of water. I risked my own life because my weight with hers could have been too much, but I made it. The lady later sued me. Now, I learned later that she had to spend 3 days at the hospitals. Couldn't afford it. Tried to sue the beach owners but her case was rejected. But she still sued me. Her case? I should have saved her earlier. I had been careless, not carrying her to the shore fast enough, and should have let the lifeguard do his job. Yes, you read that right. I had injured her. She was in pain. She wouldn't have swallowed as much water, if that makes any sense. etc etc. I had the case thrown out by a judge, but still had to hire a lawyer, and to suffer the humiliation. It was an unnecessary stress. I felt disgusted and betrayed. Ask me anything. Edit. Thanks for the great questions. I'm off for the night. I will answer in the morning. I was saved by a random guy when I was drowning at age 15. He could have easily drowned with me but instead did what you did and carried me out of the river and safely to shore before an ambulance even got there. 6 years later I still think about it, and I never got to give him simple thank you because I was in shock and being seen by paramedics. I would give anything to find this guy. I want you to know that what you did was amazing and you deserve nothing but honor for it. See, if you don't stick around, you can't get sued. My grandfather pulled a man out of a burning car and immediately left after the ambulance arrived for precisely that reason. What an evil dunt. Good job for saving someone's life, even if they didn't deserve it. Amongst her charge was that I injured her while giving her CPR, as opposed to not giving her CPR maybe? You gave her CPR? Yes, which might be part of the reason she sued me actually. I'm black. She was white. And not too appreciative of minorities or so I've heard. What an stupid a-hole of a woman. Thank you for being the good guy, man. Aren't there good Samaritan laws that protect against you getting sued if you hurt someone while trying to save them? Like pulling someone from a burning car only to worsen an injury or giving someone CPR after they almost drowned? Good question. I came to ask the same thing. Under the Good Samaritan laws which grant immunity, if the Good Samaritan makes an error while rendering emergency medical care, he or she cannot be held legally liable for damages in court. However, 2 conditions usually must be met. 1. The aid must be given at the scene of the emergency, and 2. If the volunteer has other motives, such as the hope of being paid a fee or reward, then the law will not apply. Source: I hereby order you to change your name to Laranger. Duck your shitty lawyer, go for the 20k plea deal. What a shitty lawyer. Unfortunately that's the sort of number that could actually be cheaper than litigation. People who sue use that tactic all the time, especially the RIAA. We're going to rape you for $1 bazillion in levies and lawyers fees, but we'll settle with you right now for a cool $5,000. The trick is to make the settlement offer comparable to what it would cost to defend yourself in court. So, his lawyer may not have been shitty so much as he or she was simply being practical. You should send her Christmas cards every year, just like the sweetest, happiest passive-aggressive Christmas card you can muster. Maybe a picture of you down at the beach with a Santa hat or something, with a nice little "just thankful we're both alive to celebrate another Christmas." I wish you a safer and prosperous new year. PS. Be careful when swimming next summer. That's a great idea and it would possibly even work. But I really don't want to have anything to do with this woman. My god. That would be a horrible yet strangely appropriate way to troll the shit out of someone. Right? I try to think what would make her feel like shit. At first I thought egging her house would do the trick. But then I thought how she should have to remember for the rest of her life that the only reason she's still on this planet is cause one guy, who is nice enough to send her a Christmas card every year, dragged her unworthy corpse out of the ocean. I try to think what would make her feel like shit. I can't imagine that anything would make a person who sued the person who saved their life feel bad about themselves. Haha, good point. Duck it. Let's just egg her house. I'll shit in her mailbox. And I'll fill it with wet cement, so the poop will be there forever. Teamwork is less than high five is greater than. This somehow evoked an image of two generic Redditors Eiffel towering a standard metal mailbox. Dut. Fap. I think that drowning her in niceties is a great idea. It's what I'd do. Totally. You could even wave to her every time you see her, just to keep the memories current. She might get all choked up at nice gesture. She might even swallow her pride and apologize. Alright guys, this is going a little overboard. Yeah, can we give this thread some room to breathe? We ought not to get swept away here. I don't know, we may be in too deep already. You sure are. I see what you did there. Something like this happened to my uncle. As an off-duty fireman he saw a car with two girls in their 20s go off a bridge into an orchard. By the time he got to the car, he saw that the girl in the passenger seat was dead. The car was on fire, and he suffered burns getting the girl out of the driver's seat. The surviving girl then sued him because she said he hurt her back and won. So what's the lesson here? Next time, let him burn. Awesome job there, judge. I sometimes cannot comprehend how judges actually hear these cases. Disclaimer, I have limited knowledge in law. I do have a bit of common sense, but that comes and goes. I have limited knowledge in law. I do have a bit of common sense, but that comes and goes. Sounds exactly what an average judge would say. Victim probably had a better lawyer. Judge was prejudiced, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Civil courts sometimes focus too heavily on little technicalities in law, while relevant facts such as, "I saved that beach's life," are neglected by the judge. I'm sure you know all of this, but you'd be surprised by how much of a difference these little things make in the legal system. Similar story, my brother-in-law saved an old man whose airway was blocked with a McJavid tracheotomy. He lost his job as a paramedic because of the subsequent lawsuit. That hideous scar on his neck was uber traumatic compared to his imminent death. God, I hate the American justice system. Honestly, I'd be stoked to get a hideous scar across my neck as a reminder that someone saved my life with an impromptu tracheotomy. I would be honored to wear that badge. Surprised that even made it to court. What did it end up costing you in legal fees? $3,500, approx. Can I just say, on behalf of her, thank you so much. She may be less than human, but what you did is so much more than 99% would have. Really, you are awesome. It would make sense to reverse your action. I've thought a lot about it. Tell me if that makes sense. Let's say I see the exact same girl drowning again. What would I do? What would I honestly do? I've thought about it for long. She was suing me for $150,000, which is more than everything I have. She would have destroyed my life, and I think I would save her again, even if I know that by saving her, I might get sued again. However, this time, I would try not to give my name. Just save her and run away. The worst is, I gave my name to the emergency workers just in case they would later need my help or some information. Yep. So moral of the story, when you help someone, don't give your name and run like hell. Or give a rival's name, someone you wouldn't mind getting credit or getting sued. You probably would also get mad respect in the media for being a humble mystery hero. You should have got the media involved and had her publicly humiliated. Agreed. I'd have been tempted as soon as the summons came to call a local TV station and ask them to do a report on it, to see if you could embarrass her enough so that she dropped the lawsuit. Whilst I don't agree with her suing anyone, Surely she would have had more of a case against the city, since there wasn't a lifeguard around. That's the most laughable case I've ever heard. If I was a judge, I'd order her to be drowned. Off with her lungs. I read about a case in Iran where a guy threw acid on a girl's face and blinded her. The judge ordered that the attacker also be blinded with acid.